far in love, right? If you really want to win, then win at love. Don't be trying to beat the person that you're in love with. So, okay, if you beat them, that makes them feel like a what?
It depends on
Karen, can you help me out here?
Listen, it depends on the person. But if you
No, don't. You being too deep. You're number 5'1". Look, if you beat somebody, they feel like a loser.
Right.
So if you're constantly winning, think about this, right?
Yeah.
Now it's uneven because if you're constantly winning, that person constantly feels like a loser. And so then, and when you turn around and then you have the audacity to say, I love you, like in their mind, like, okay, I'm a loser. How can you love me? It can't be received.
Because it's what part of me then do you love if I'm a loser?
Right. Because every time you turn around, I'm not doing enough.
Mm-hmm.
Every time you turn around, there's something wrong with me. Every time you turn around, you're pointing out my faults instead of trying to help me figure out how we can, maneuver in this relationship better as a unit, as a whole.
Welcome to the Love Is Podcast with your host, that thorny chick, Karen KK Rose, and her co-host, the lovable a-hole, that's right, I said lovable, Mr. DK Walker, where they will be discussing love, relationships, family, life, sex, self-help, and what it takes to be a successful entrepreneur. Why? Because love is everything, and everything should be loved. Now to today's podcast.
Hello, everyone. It's your girl, that Thorny Chick, Karen KK Rose, alongside my co-host, the Lovable Asshole, DK Walker. DK.
What?
What'd it do?
It did already, about an hour and 7 minutes ago.
Oh, my God. Can you not be this dramatic today?
I really hate when females use the word dramatic in dealing with men, right? First, y'all complain that we're emotionally constipated, that we can't articulate our feelings. And as soon as we're able to articulate our feelings, that rubs some women, not all, the wrong way. And they quickly want to label you as being dramatic because you're able to articulate your feelings. You're dramatic. Like, I don't get it. Like, either you want a person that can, articulate his feelings, or you want a person to grunt and scratch his nuts. Which one do you want?
Grunt, scratch his nuts.
Well, I'm not the grunt, scratching nuts type of guy, right? I'm when I was younger, maybe, I'm a little older now, right? And I don't have no problem speaking my mind. So, it is what it is.
Is that old person license?
Nah, I mean, true. Yeah, I definitely am a card carrying member of Old Muthafucka Don't Give a Goddamn.com. I am a card carrying member of that. But the same token, like all jokes aside, like, I think I don't understand that. I don't want to get so early in the podcast, get on a DK rant, but that always baffled me. Like you want one thing, and I don't want to say all women, I'll say some women want that thing, want to be able to have a conversation, with their love interest. And when their love interest is able to, articulate this is bothering them or whatever the case may be, it's like, oh, you're being dramatic. The fuck? Like, it's a tad bit insulting, but it's cool. It's all right. I'll be the female of the podcast and you can be the man as always.
Thank you. I do enjoy standing up to pee now that I've mastered it.
Mm-hmm.
They teased me at work about that the other day. Did I tell you this?
No, you didn't. What's going on?
So, I forgot what the conversation was exactly about, but I was like, listen, what we not gonna do, rah, 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 and they were like, okay. They were like, DK, right? You do stand up to pee. I was like, it's okay for DK to DK me, but when y'all DK me, I feel a certain type of way about it. I was like, I'm gonna be real Drake today and be in my feelings.
I mean, truth hurts.
Clearly, I wasn't ready. Clearly, I wasn't ready.
People see your mannish ways. Sometimes it's all right. Come on back. Go buy a dress. I don't give a damn if it's 5 degrees in the Midwest. Go right. It's cold. Just go buy a dress. You know what I mean? You go. It takes more than getting hair done. It takes more than getting your Chewbacca eyebrows did.
Which need to be done.
Go. Yeah. Well, yeah. Maybe. Yeah. Go get those done and go buy a dress. Matter of fact, go buy a sundress. You know what I mean?
I got them. I have dresses and I have sundresses.
Okay, I'm not, but right about now, something's missing. Something is it's not adding up, and I'm not sure what it is.
I don't know. It could be lack of caffeine. Could be lack of sleep. I don't know.
Do not talk about that. But anyway, our listeners don't give a rat's ass about us being tired. They could give 2 fucks or 2 fucks less about that. It took us an hour and 7 minutes to actually.
They didn't know. You the one who brought this up.
What? I'm just telling you that.
It could have been omitted. There was no need to bring this to the podcast. You just wanted to. Hence why I said dramatic. And to answer you, it's not that we want men who are emotionally constipated. We want you to articulate your emotions.
Y'all don't. Because then what happens?
No. You already had your moment. Hush.
Okay.
Hush your face.
I hear you talking. You're right. But I hear you talking. Anyway, most women don't, because what happens when a man can articulate a situation, say a man and woman that is having a discussion, won't even say an argument, right? And what happens is women are used to men shutting down and just be like, man, I just wish this bleep would shut up. And so what happens, some men are able to articulate their feelings, are able to articulate what happened, what led up to them having that conversation. And then a woman's like, that means I really got to either admit I was wrong, admit to my bullshit, or, engage. And 9 times out of 10, a woman's not even prepared to engage because she thinks he's just going to shut down. And then when he doesn't, then she would quickly diffuse it. She want to emasculate him and hit him with a dramatic joint, right? All jokes aside, I honestly think, because I hate when my wife do that shit, because I'd be looking like, what? Like, I think that shit is highly offensive. Like, don't say I'm being dramatic, or we're just having a conversation. Me being dramatic is throwing my hand across my head and flailing my head back or some dumb shit like that. Me being dramatic is like falling out on the floor and whimpering and whatnot. Oh, you don't understand me. Like, that's dramatic. Having a conversation is not being dramatic. And you should know this. You went to college. Let me guess.
Okay, throwing yourself on the floor is not being dramatic. That's being a toddler.
No. You got some people that
I would have told you.
Nah, you got some people who will go through the theatrics. To me, that's being dramatical. When you're going through, we're having a conversation. I don't know how a conversation behooves somebody being dramatic. It's a conversation. And I was just telling them, if you would let me finish, I was just saying our listeners don't care about how long it took us. They don't care that you tired and you need a shot of coffee or a shot of life or a shot of dick. They don't care about none of that. They don't care that I'm old as fucking and need a pillow, you know what I mean, and a teddy bear. They don't care. They just like, okay, can y'all give us what we come to listen for? You know what I mean?
Like junkies? I mean,
no. I'm not going to disrespect our listeners like that. They're not junkies. They just great supporters. And we appreciate and love the support. So, we're going to thug this thing out. We got something really good for y'all today. We going in our bag of him versus her. And by all indications, we got started a little bit early. But before we go down that rabbit hole, how are you doing? How's the family? What's going on new with you?
Good. Guy A his speech was kind of concern about last fall. They were kind of like, he's not doing this, he's not doing that. And now we can't get the little joker to shut the hell up. So it's not a bad thing. I called his mom today, or anytime now that I call, you hear him go, hi. I'm like, dude. I was like, and then I tell him, I'm like, hi, baby. He's like, hi, Gigi. And then he's gone. That's it. He just needs to be acknowledged, and then he's done. But he's answering very mannish questions like, where are you? In the car. Where are you going? To the gym? Can I come? No. Why? I'm like, dude, like, when did this become our lives? I feel like I'm being checked in by my dad. Like, where are you going? What time are you going to be home? What did you wear? Who did you see? Like, dude. The thing is, he's 2 going on 3, so it's kind of funny to me. My guy is fine. My niece is good. She's on the honor roll, killing it as a freshman in high school. They are doing a couple days in school, real live school and virtual school. So other than that, we're fine. Bay is good, working still like a Hebrew slave. So he's, quite grumpy, but he'll be all right.
Okay. All right. Quick question. Back to my guy. You said that it was worried about his concern about his speech. Did y'all have him checked during the period of being concerned?
Yeah. He went to his pediatrician. The pediatrician was actually like, it's about to go in the holiday time, and with it being COVID, like, hold out on making the appointment, because she was like, you're probably not going to get in. And she really wasn't overtly concerned about daycare had brought it up. And so she really wasn't concerned about what the daycare is concerned about, because the daycare kind of has had the reputation with us to kind of make outlandish statements and not really have a whole lot of proof of them. It's like one day he chooses not to speak, so now he's got a speech issue. Or one day he throws a temper tantrum and it's, worse than, what he's ever done. And now he's...
So maybe I need to... I'm about to cut you off. Maybe I need to remove him from that daycare, because I don't understand how... Right. I don't understand how non-doctors get to make that profound, diagnosis. Like you got a degree in what? Changing diapers? Bitch, please.
Right. So the pediatrician was like, just let it ride out. He had an appointment at the beginning of the year. And so he's doing well. He's doing very, very well. I think it was kind of funny because the appointment kind of like right after, because the daycare sent home like this whole grocery list of things. And so we kind of, went over with the pediatrician, like, no, he does this. No, he does that. No, he does this, this, and this. So it's like 3 things that were kind of, like yellow flags. Like, they weren't red flags. I said, but these maybe are things that we need to talk to you about. And she was just like, if he's doing everything else out of their list of 10, I really wouldn't be worried about the 3. Like, he's still 2. He's still coming along, let him figure it out. And so she did give us a referral for speech therapy. And like I said, she said to hold off until after the holidays were over. And so he had an appointment at the beginning of the year to kind of check in on that. And of course, he had grown taller and his eating habits are a little bit better and his speech has improved vastly. And so she was like, yeah, I still think, just to have him go to speech therapy, just to kind of basically say, fuck it to the daycare, like, this is what you want to do. And he was fine anyway. So there you have it.
Well, okay, cool.
What about you?
Don't forget to read to him. Always, and things of this nature, right? So, everything on my side of town is good. We're good. My usual stick is I'm a sinning Christian. God still loves me anyway. We're good.
When is MJ opening her bakery?
I don't know. Like, I don't know. I love my baby. She get on my doggone nerves, man. Like, I love my family, but they get on my nerves. So, like, if you ask me about it, I couldn't tell you. They're just not. I'm just being honest. Like, you can love your family to life, but even they just get on your nerves. You're like, you know what? I need a vacation, but I just need y'all to leave.
I just need y'all to leave. Listen, I am serious about cash apping her so I can get these. What did she make over Christmas? The ginger.
Yeah, like the ginger chocolate joints.
Yeah.
She made a cake that was for her grandmother's birthday. She actually just sent all her grandmothers and a couple of great aunts some chocolate chip oatmeal cookies. Oh, like I give her props as much as because my she's not conceited, but she just have this aloofness about her, right? I don't know where she get it from. I got my hand up in the air. It's a shame you can't see me. I don't know where she gets it from though, right? Right. So when she on her shit and she knows she on her shit, she act like it ain't about nothing, but that's all she talks about. That what she wants to do, is to be a baker, own her own bakery, run her own shop, whatever the case may be. So, her applying that trade early in life, does my heart wonders. Like, you can say you want to do something, but to actually see your kids work towards it, that gives it, a whole new, puts in a different perspective. Like, okay, you's a go-getter, and I'm proud of you. She's still on my damn nerves, though, so.
She still gets on my damn nerves. Really? That's how you go close that little segment out? Anyway.
Yeah, I'm not going to be long-winded. Like, anybody that's a parent, right? Anybody that's a parent know, like, you can love your kids to life, but there's certain times you like, man, if I had a shoe, well, I promise you I had a shoe.
Listen, it's not even a shoe. At some point, it's just anything. It's like if I find something I can throw across the room that I know will get some like air up underneath it, I will hit you with it.
And I want to hit you upside your head too. I ain't gonna lie to you. Y'all go ahead and call who you want to call, but like if you like it's crazy. Non-parents, right? They'll be like, "Oh my God, that's assault," and then parents be like, "No, that's just attention getter. It's a difference. You got to know the difference between like assault and throwing shit is attention getter. You might want to hit them, you might not.
Right? It just depends on the flick of the wrist. That really is all. Right. It's like, so you gotta squint. Listen, you gotta squint and be like, "Am I gonna throw this past?" It's like you really. The thing for me is, I really just want to go past their ear so they hear that, and it hit the wall. So then when they stop dead in their tracks, they turn around and be like, "See, I could have killed you right there. I chose your life." But if you keep playing with me,
right. No, I actually want to hit. I'm not gonna lie. I don't want to scare them. Like you gotta think about it, right? I'm not. You're a little bit younger than me, but my father, I won't say rule the house, but when he did at times, he did rule the house in fear. And I always look at him like, he was kind of crazy. He'd come home from work on a Friday. So of course Friday is a payday. So he'd go cross the street, and I forget my man, Miss Newton. He'd go cross the street, Miss Newton's house, and he'd have a drink with Miss Newton. He'd go up the street. I forget the old man name. He'd have a drink with him. He'd go next door to a neighbor named Charles, have a drink with him. So he got 3 drinks in him. You could hear him laughing, cursing, talking about this, that, and the third, and da-da-da-da-da. But by the time he put that key in the door, it's just like, how Arnold Schwarzenegger was really stern in the Terminator. Like, I just watched this man out my doggone living room window make his circuit, right? Make his drinking circuit, right? Like, instead of speed dating, it was speed drinking. I just watched him do speed drinking, right? And then by the time he gets to the door, it's just like, I'm not here for no bullshit. Like, yeah, where my dinner at? Like, some real, I'm like, I just seen you have a great time. I didn't understand it until I became, married and then with kids. I understand that sometimes, not all the time, because if you do it too much, it's like, okay, then it's like, okay, we don't like him. He's not likable, right? But once every blue moon, you just got to go left just because you can. Like, you just have to go left in this because I can go left. I'm going left.
Just to remind him.
Right. You got to. Fear's a beautiful thing. Like that. I think that's a forgotten tool in parenting, right? All my parents out there truly can understand and relate to what I'm saying.
Yeah. Yeah. Or has MJ ever tried you?
Come on. Of course she's tried me. She's a young version of me.
When they try to flinch or something at you, I'd be like, do you want
No. That's the son. No. She ain't crazy.
See, I got boys. So yeah, they'll kind of like try this little flinch move. And I'd be like, do you want 2 to the chest? Cause I will 2-piece and a biscuit you with no drink. Like, don't try me. Don't.
No.
Or Landon will try to, Landon will raise his hand like he gonna hit me. And I'll be like, you want to walk the green mile today, son? And then he'll put it down real fast because I'll just look at him. I'm like, I wish you would.
You better than me. So as he raise it up, he be pulling it back down, but tears be falling with the hand. Because you're not going, we not going to do that. But nah, she ain't that crazy. Now her and her mother, she's not crazy towards her mom, but I can see the tension. Like I be looking at mama, like I'm like, trying to give her those signals, like, nah, stop. That's going too far.
Abort.
Stop. And she be going in. And so that don't be me at that time. That'd be just Nikki versus Nikki. And so I was like, let me get the popcorn. And then, of course, my wife goes like then the old school finally jumps out of her, right? And I'm like, so I'll be trying to tell her, mama, like, if you got one off, you can't be greedy. She let you slide. Before you
take
get
the win and go. Take the win and go.
Yeah, take that win and go. But yeah, my daughter definitely subscribes to overkill. But anyway, enough about me and my doggone functioning dysfunctional family.
Well, you had mentioned that we do love our supporters, and we do. We appreciate you guys. You guys are the dopest listeners. Any 2 people really could have. It's almost been a year that y'all have been rocking with us.
Facts.
Like I said, y'all don't mind. I get a lot more social interaction than DK does because obviously he doesn't check his, nor does he care.
That's not why. Hey. Well, that's just fake news. Like I know you miss your favorite president, but you don't gotta have to react. I said that. I know you miss your favorite president, but you do not have to reenact. You know what I mean? Snippets of fake news. Like talking about, like, okay, I may not be social. Yeah, the audacity for that shit to spill from your mouth. Look, I may not check social media as much as I should, but to say that I don't care. And no, I'm not being dramatic, but what I am being is like truthful. Like you didn't lost show, I do care. I promise you, I care. You know what I mean? What our readers, how they feel, and definitely when they interact with us, right? Like that means because they're taking the time out. That means we said or done something on a podcast that's impacted their lives, whether they agreed with something, disagree with something. We made them laugh, made them ponder. We did something, and then that made them reach out. And so for them to take that minute out, like I care so much. So please, please forgive my co-host for speaking ill of my feelings towards our listeners. She's been under the weather lately. Strong case of blondism. Strong case.
You got the audacity. I got the caucasity. Is that what you're trying to say?
No. Because we have, fair skinned listeners too. So I'm not saying that either. I'm just saying
lighter than me. That's doing a lot.
Well, Casper, I heard Casper, the ghost, did listen from time to time. I could be, Casper.
I didn't know.
That you was that light? Yes. Translucent ass.
You can't see my veins. Right. You can't see my veins. My hands and my feet is really, really bad. But listen, you guys really are the dopest listeners. I love how much y'all, really have interacted with us. Whether it's me on TikTok, on our Instagram pages, myself, on the Love Is Podcast, Facebook. Again, y'all sending us comments about, your favorite episodes, which have been so amazing because, sometimes I think, especially for myself, I think because we put a lot of great content out, there's a lot things that either we miss that we say, or there's things that I don't think that I feel are impactful, but it ends up being impactful to somebody else. And so you guys have really, shed light on how we do things. And so for that, we say thank you. And to get exclusive content from me and DK, we have DK. You want to do your drum roll because you hate mine?
No, I'm not flicking my tongue. I'm not flicking my tongue at all. I'm not flicking.
You are sitting at your desk. Drum on your desk.
I'm not drumming or flicking.
Okay. Y'all heard that.
A bunch of women. If I start flicking, it'd be a stampede. I remember that. I remember that sound. It's like the bat signal. A bunch of old women come. A bunch of old women come running.
I'm traumatized. I am traumatized.
I remember that sound. Those magical lips. Whew. His tongue.
Come back from memory lane. Come back. Do not step into the light, Carolyn. So anyway, your favorite podcasters have moved on to Patreon. You can find us obviously at the Love Is Podcast. Things that you can find if you, there are 3 tiers. You can just do general support. You don't have to, be bombarded with emails or with, getting merchandise, which I don't know why you wouldn't want it, but hey, everybody, different strokes for different folks. So our top tier is just support. Hey, click the button, do what you want to do with that. Our number 2 tier, you get some merchandise that, DK and I have put great time and effort and grand debate about, things that we want y'all to rock and us to rock, obviously, as well. You will get merchandise. You can get a shout out on the podcast. You will definitely always get early access to the episodes. That's right. If you sign up on Patreon on tier 2 or 3, you will get early access to the podcast. So instead of waiting till Wednesday to get your little hit of whatever we are dishing, you can get it on Tuesday at 7:00. So, the 3rd tier, after you have been a 3-tier member for 4 months, you get merchandise. We have a special t-shirt just for that tier. We have a ebook, a bonus episode, and not only do you get recognized on the podcast, but there's some other dope things that we have out there. But definitely check us on Patreon. That link will be in the show notes, so you guys can go over there and see us not only in one spot wherever you listen to us on podcasts, but you can also get extra doses of us on Patreon. I will let you know now for the top 3. Tier 3 rather, there is a drunk story that DK shared. There's an interview that DK did, and there's one that I did as well. So there's some outtakes, some intakes. Guy A's first debut on the podcast a couple weeks ago, where he kind of bombarded Gigi Space. It's on there. So our kids are, making their intrusions, is what we should say. So there you have it.
Cool.
So that is on Patreon.
Right. I feel like George and Wheezy right now. I feel like George and Wheezy.
We're moving on up
to the
east side,
where we finally got a
piece of the pie. I don't know what that was.
I'm just checking your blackness. I'm just you was hesitant.
You called me translucent 10 seconds ago, but now you want to check my blackness.
They got translucent black people. You just happen to be one of them.
I just happen to be one of them. Moving on. Now, today we're going to actually not do what the fuck news. Your girls just, I haven't been on the dark web as much as I should be. I've been in my basement, but not in the dark web. Nothing really just got me, hee hee ha ha. There's, the internet right now has kind of been taken over by, people's stupidity with Gorilla Glue. So there's nothing really good out right now.
Hey. We're not going to take a light jab because somebody made a mistake with, we're not going to do that. We all make mistakes. We're going to take the high road, and Michelle will be proud of us.
Okay. Well, we are moving on to, because believe it or not, your girl got cleaned up today. So in honor of my fresh do, we're going to do the Bald-Headed Hoe Shit Award. Now, obviously, if you've been listening, you know who they go to, and it's normally really not what you think. However, today's recipient number 4, is the Cowgirls of Color. They are an all-black, all-female rodeo team who is breaking barriers and making history. 2 years ago, they were featured on the NFL's playoffs commercial. They are trying to take over, a male-dominated sport and doing very well at doing so. So shout out to them. It is the Cowgirls of Color. You can find them on Instagram, and you can see them at their events and all the other things that they're supporting. So happy.
Yeah, dude, since if they have like a website or something, make sure you include their information in our show notes. So like if you haven't caught the gist of the Bald-Headed Hoe Award, it's the opposite. So you think somebody's receiving a Bald-Headed Hoe Award, you think they did some ratchet shit, right? Us being who we are, we of course give things ratchet names, but it's actually to honor honorary people. So we're going to make sure that whoever we do honor with the Bald-Headed Hoe Award, to make sure we include their information in our show notes.
Facts. So you can find them and anybody else who's received the Bald-Headed Hoe Shit Award in our show notes. And you can also follow myself and DK, the podcast. You can get our merchandise that we have available. I have a book. DK's got a slew of books. More merchandise will be coming out. And you can also find our text-only number that you guys have. Some people have used, some people have not, which is fine. We appreciate all the feedback and the comments that you guys have been texting us. It's been pretty dope. I've been enjoying the commentary, to say the least.
Yes.
So speaking of text messages, DK, I got sent one. Well, I saw one. And
how did you see one? If you it had to be sent to you, for you to see it,
well,
right?
Unless
a girlfriend shared it with you.
Yeah. Basically, I was scrolling through, and then somebody sent me a snippet of a text message. So
any particular reason? Like I know you before you got booed up, you got different types of messages. Eggplant life.
I have not. My eggplant life is over. However, my DMs still be popping. So we'll talk about that a whole different, because I can literally sit here and read through them. I'm like, ugh. Because the thing about social media, the way I have mine set up is that they go like to a completely different folder. So they're not in my regular inbox. So I actually have to go look for these. And every now and then, a sugar daddy or 10, these Bitcoiners and, folks who want to, fix your credit and all that kind of thing have jumped in. And yeah. Hey, yeah.
Well, they say translucent women are popping right now. So,
listen, I'm going to be popping forever. Forever, ever.
Oh, man.
Forever, ever.
Forever, ever. Forever, ever.
Forever, ever. So listeners send me things. They tag me in things to see things. Or my girlfriends, they see a conversation and they see it, or they're in a part of a conversation they send to me. So because they typically know I'm going to bring it to the podcast. So this one I thought was actually, I'll just read it because I don't want to say what I think.
So you thought it was podcast worthy?
Oh, for sure, it's podcast worthy. I just don't want to say what I feel about the text message. That's where I'm trying to rein myself in at. Okay, so this is a girl and a guy talking. They are dating. His name literally in her phone is listed as Bae. So she really do love him.
Because you call somebody Bae means you love them? I would just think that's
if your name in my phone is not really your name, I like you. I got some affection for you.
But how did you just say, because somebody named Bae, that means, like, dudes, if you go through your girl phone and then you see your number and your name is listed as Bae, like, just because she's calling you Bae in public, just because your phone, your name in the phone is Bae, like, don't, like, forget what she calls you. Like, those actions has to meet those words. Like, I don't give a damn if she call you. Like, is the actions, I don't know what my doggone co-host is talking about. Somebody called me Bae, I mean, you love me. What? What are we, 5 years old?
Yes.
Okay. I need to tell my gray hairs that.
Listen, the heart wants what it wants. So anyway, this is Bae and his Bae talking. So she says, this is the part of the conversation they sent me. This is the part that they sent me. So her part says, do my part the fuck. Like, what do you mean do my part? So he says, yes, if I'm paying the bills and the mortgage and being the provider and protector that you want me to be, then little things like me needing new socks and long johns should be handled by you. That's part of upkeeping the home. Her response, what I look like. Part of you being a provider is also providing for yourself. You're a whole grown ass man. His response, you missing the point. We'll talk about it when I get home. So, listen here.
Interesting.
Listen here.
I'm not understanding, but I'm pretty sure by the time I get finished dissecting this diluted relationship, somebody's going to understand. Yeah, somebody's going to understand. Yeah. Anyway,
listen. Get the Hanzo swords out because we going in.
Okay, stop. So you can't be using terminology. I don't know what a Rapunzel sword. What's a Rapunzel sword?
Hanzo sword. Kill Bill reference. Jesus Christ, what?
Nothing. I ain't saying nothing.
So,
right.
Ladies first, because I'm definitely gonna.
I'm not going first.
I'm definitely gonna borrow your hat. So here's the thing. For me, because I always get accused of being the Steve Harvey of women. I call bullshit. So here's the thing. I believe that every woman, let me start again because there's so much I want to say and I'm irritated by this conversation. So anyway, we always pride ourselves on saying have tough conversations, and you have to, especially for me who is now in a new relationship. When you first get with somebody, you got to have tough conversations, and it's outside of what is your favorite color? What is your favorite food? What do you like to do? Where do you want to be in 5 years? It's beyond that. You have to ask, how were you raised? How do you parent? How do you do this? How do you do that? So at the place where you have now started to cohabitate, you got to establish, do we believe in gender roles? Is it a requirement for me as the woman to have to clean, or we cleaning together? Or am I cleaning Monday through Friday and you got the weekend? Because the house is dirty at all times. If you live in it, your house is dirty 7 days a week. 7 days a week it needs to be mopped. 7 days a week the bathroom needs to be clean. 7 days a week laundry need to be done. 7 days a week somebody got to go to the grocery store. There's always shit to be done as long as you got a house, apartment, however you want to look at it. I live in a house, so that's what I'm referencing. So my thing is, I was raised old school. So you worked your job, you still cook dinner, you still clean the house. You still did all the things that a quote unquote woman was supposed to do. So I see his standpoint and I see her standpoint. Now she want to be new school and sit around and act like, here we go, DK, like the pussy really is a gold plated package. Just because you look good, just because you present yourself, you package yourself well, and you fuck him anytime you want to. I don't care if you got Cardi B WAP. I don't care if you can, bust it. Listen, do the bust it challenge and have DK scrolling for 6 hours with his life. I don't care if you can swing from the chandelier. I don't care if you can 21 positions in a one night stand. Like, I don't care. Pussy is not enough for you to be kept. It's not.
Okay. Right. I got you. Right. And so I see you. I don't know what you want. I will say you DK, right? I'm not going to insult you by saying, you're your own person. So when you go on your rant, it's not necessarily DK. It's a current thing. Right. So how did you, out of that text, let me play devil's advocate, and God knows the devil needs no advocating for. How did you, out of that text, derive the fact that it was because of her vagina, that she didn't have to, do other things around the house? How did you draw that conclusion? Because I don't want to misspeak. Because I'm old, right? I'm old, right? So how did you draw to that conclusion?
So when she said, "Do my part," the fuck. If you are in a relationship and you guys have healthy communication, if there's a conversation going on, typically, and I can probably only speak for my relationship or the ones that I know of that are in my circle. If we're just having a conversation like, "Hey, babe, I need you to, run to the grocery store." Or for me, "Hey, babe, can you stop at the liquor store and do this?" Or, "Babe, on the way home, can you grab some milk?" And it becomes, why the fuck do I have to do it? Like at any point, I feel like you got to curse at me to explain, to answer a question. We going left anyway, because it's like, if I don't bring you that energy, don't give me that energy. Because what you give me, I'm going to give you back exponentially. You get rah about something simple. Oh, there's bigger issues. So my thing is, she said, do my part. The fuck? You could just hear the attitude. And it was like, if all I'm saying is, hey, babe, I need you to, in his case, I just need you to go give me some socks and drawers. Or I need you to go give me some. If I'm busting my ass to do everything for you or for us, I can't even say for you, but for us. And I ask you to simply run to Target and get me some drawers and you got an issue? Like, come the fuck on. Like, what else is she doing?
Interesting. Okay. All right. I mean, I just need you to clear that up because I didn't know how we got to, that. And then she was just resting on the laurels.
Well, but then her whole thing is in response to his provider, she attacks. And this is the thing that I hate with women is that, and I was going to say this when, the whole dramatic comment, when you were going on the rant about the dramatic comment, it's not that we want y'all emotionally constipated. And it's not to say that we don't want you to express yourself. It's how you do it. Sometimes it can be dramatic. But my thing is, in any interaction with a man and how you address a conversation, it's not to belittle him. 9 times out of 10, especially when those dramatic situations, we don't want to be wrong. We don't. No one wants to be told by her man that she's wrong.
Why not? You're not.
I don't know. I don't know why. I don't.
That's kind of crazy. If you're wrong, you're wrong. You're wrong. It doesn't. And
I get that.
No,
but until you can prove us wrong, we ain't gonna take the L, son.
Nah, and see, that's the problem right there. I'm gonna jump into this, in a minute, right? But I want to touch on some things that you just said about the not wanting to take the L, and I think that's the problem there, right? So I'm moving my relationship. Let me make this personal. Let me bring, and God knows my wife is so sick of me, but let me bring how I move in my house to the podcast in hopes of helping somebody else out, right? I don't do conversations just for who's right and who's wrong. I don't, right? Because what happens is you're keeping score. And in doing so, like a person is always going to embark on a conversation just to be right, right? There's no growth, there's no healing, there's no understanding, right? I think the only time that you should converse is to understand, not about I'm right and you're wrong. Because you're going to argue until your point is made instead of talking until your point is understood. It's a huge difference. I'm not trying to be necessarily deep here, but what happens is, as that, although the text which you read was like short at best, you can see that she's pointing out her side just to be right, not trying to get understood of, his mentality of like, if I'm doing all this and the least you could do is, and then she's like, and she really had no go back on that. She was like he gave her, this is my argument, or this is my point counterpoint, but it was not argumentative. It was to get an understanding. And she was like, I'm in this to win. And so what you just said illustrates what she was just doing. And so I guess it's a subconscious thing. Like people need to be conscious of, having these conversations. And it's not like I'm going to win. Like if you're in a relationship, if you're in a loving relationship, you should never enter in this to win. Love is not a game, but most people fail at love because they treat it like a game. So they always want to win. I want to win this. I want to win this argument. I want to, use less money. I want to always get my way. I want to do all these things that's not beneficial to us, but beneficial to you. And if you're always being beneficial to you and he's not benefiting from that relationship, or she's not benefiting from that relationship, how do you think that person is feeling? And so when the straw that finally breaks the camel back, when the last thing happens and that person's like, and you wonder why they're so high strung when they finally go off. You wonder why they just let everything out, because they've been losing for so long, because you've been positioning them in a way so they can feel as though that they're a loser. And like my actions don't match that. My actions, I'm doing what I'm supposed to do. I'm paying the mortgage. I'm paying the bills. I'm doing, and you still painting me as like, I'm not doing enough. Like what? So, and I'm not even talking about a man and woman, because you got some dudes that's just guilty, just as guilty as the female that was in the text message. So people really, real life need to move off of trying to win a argument or win a conversation and then to converse to be understood. Like I promise you, me and my wife used to go at it like shit. John McEnroe and the umpire, a chair ump. Right? I don't know if you're a tennis fan, but John McEnroe was a great tennis player back in the 80s. Like, I love me some Johnny Mac because he was crazy. Though he would throw the racket, he'd get the cursing. He was just a wild cowboy, right? You know what I mean? Me and my wife would go at it like tooth and nail. And I had to reevaluate. Like, if I wanted to stay married, if I want to stay happily married, if I want to have some normalcy in my household, if I wanted my daughter to view us and people don't interact like this. They shouldn't interact like this. I had to be like, you know what? Stop. And then I would just stop. And then once cooler heads prevailed, then we would, get back at it. But now we're getting back at it, not to the point where you did this, you said this, you didn't do this time. And okay, let's focus on here and now. Let's put down the tally cards, because the tally cards are made to hold score. Mm-hmm. In love, you should not be holding score. You should not be keeping score. Okay, let me, because I go down this rabbit hole. I'll probably never come back. But look, let me help somebody out right now. Let me really real life help somebody. The only time, let me give you a love hack. The only time that you should be keeping score in a relationship, right, is that your only job, if you want to make it competitive, if you want to win, the only time you should be trying to win in your relationship, you should be trying to outlove the person that loves you.
Say that again.
You should be trying to outlove the person that loves you. That's the only time. I'm not talking about who did what last, who said what, who paid for what last, who paid for. The only time that you should be in competition with the person that you allegedly love, you should be trying to outlove them.
But here's my thing though about the argument, because I like what you said about that. But my thing is, why do you think that we have to fight? Why do you think we fight for the win? Do you think it's because we're not taught, or it's just something that you go into? I'm not highly argumentative. If I feel like I'm right, then I will, of course, stand on my point, whether it's the podcast, our business meetings, me and Bay. If I feel like I'm right, I'm going to argue the point until you prove me otherwise. But I do take pride in the fact that, at least in this relationship, that I know that I don't feel like I have to get in the ring with him. I don't feel like I got to square up. I don't feel like I got to defend myself at all points. And I don't know if that's just a defense mechanism that, some women have, or, because we don't see love properly.
Man and woman.
Huh?
That's not a woman. That's not exclusive. That's not exclusive to women. Right. That's
sorry.
No, but when you said that, I just want to get that. You have to understand. Somebody's listening, right? And some guy. We do have male listeners, right? Yes. And so some real talk, right? And they'll listen and think no, because some guy will go in and they'll come in and they'll be dramatic. Because they'll get real flamboyant and they really keep in score in that time that you said, and you said it in front of your mother.
Facts.
Right. So what I'm trying to get people to realize, if you really want to go far in love, right? If you really want to win, then win at love. Don't be trying to beat the person that you're in love with. So, okay, if you beat them, that makes them feel like a what?
It depends.
Karen, can you help me out here?
It depends on the person. But if you
no, don't. You being too deep. You're number 5'1". Look, if you beat somebody, they feel like a loser.
Right.
So if you're constantly winning, think about this, right?
Yeah.
Now it's uneven, because if you're constantly winning, that person constantly feels like a loser. And so and when you turn around and then you have the audacity to say, I love you, in their mind, okay, I'm a loser. How can you love me? It can't be received.
Because it's, what part of me then do you love if I'm a loser?
Right. Because every time you turn around, I'm not doing enough. Mm-hmm. Every time you turn around, there's something wrong with me. Every time you turn around, you're pointing out my faults instead of trying to help me figure out how we can, maneuver in this relationship better as a unit, as a whole. Look, y'all, y'all gonna start cash apping. So I ain't say that shit in a while, right? Let me get my cocky shit, right? Y'all gonna, I'm just somebody going, okay, if it doesn't apply to you, cool. But if you know what me and my co-host said applies to somebody, do me a favor and just share. Forget the Cash App for now, right? Not a problem. Hit us up on Patreon if you want to support, right? But share this with somebody, you know what I mean, that can benefit from hearing that. Because I think what happens with a lot of couples, right? Young, old, and indifferent, doesn't even make a difference. What happens with them is they get into this doggone, they get into this back and forth, and it's really unnecessary. It's not. Somebody has to realize that if I love this person, then I don't want to win at nothing but love with this person. And then you can talk about longevity. Then you can talk about your happily ever afters. Not saying that, you're not going to have your bumps in the road. You are. Shit's going to happen. Y'all not going to see eye to eye. But if you just make that the foundation of understanding rather than the foundation or the unsteady foundation of trying to win, I promise you, you have a better chance at growing old with the person that hopefully that you want to grow old with.
Listen, grow old with somebody and not be by yourself.
I mean, no. Being by yourself is not a bad thing. I'm not saying that, but I'm saying if you willingly want to choose to be in a relationship and you want to grow with that person, then do so in happiness, do so in joy, do so in love, do so in lust. But all these good things, and lust is a good thing if you exclusive with one person and they got ass like today, tits like buyout, it's all right, right? But what I'm saying is don't grow old with a person that you eventually despise. And if you make me feel like a loser and you always position yourself as a winner, then a part of me is going to start to despise you.
Right. And people, you should, because again, for me as a woman, it would make me question if you have, because the thing is this, when we get into fighting mode, then you come with your grocery list of the things that you quote unquote despise about me. But then my thing is, if you have a grocery list, then what the hell do you want? Why do you want to be with me? That doesn't make sense.
It don't, but in the same doggone token, it's just like everybody make mental notes because you watch your parents do it, right? It's a learned behavior. So you watch your parents. And then, okay, if you didn't watch your parents do it, you watch whomever raised you, make mental notes. And then when it came time to reveal those mental notes, and then that's when they got the grocery list out. So nobody was just like, let me empty my bag before I open my mouth. And that's why the grocery list always was long, harmful, and hurtful.
So what is your take on the conversation between these two?
I wish there was more. It was good, that little snippet that you shared. Pardon me. I wish that there was just more. I don't want to just jump on the bandwagon of him, but like you said, when she hit old boy with what the fuck, that wasn't even, I don't know what came before that. Don't know what came after that. But if we're judging upon that moment solely, then that wasn't called for. And that actually moved the conversation into a different realm. Now we're being argumentative. Now I got to prove myself to you. Mm-hmm. I won't say that she's resting on the laurels of her loins. I won't say that because I don't think there was enough, in that dialogue to say the pussy good deal with that. I'm not going to say that. But what I will say, she did have an airness about her. I am who I am. You do what you do. And, no matter at whatever cost. I did catch that from there. And you can't have that. Let me help some people out, right? Let me get personal. Let me, my wife will listen to the podcast, so she'll be fine. And so I won't say that the snippet that my co-host read was a direct reflection of, me and my wife in the past, but we had a huge bump in the road, right? Because we never took the time out in the beginning of our relationship to have that, real life conversation about what the other expected. You know what I mean? We didn't do that. Her in her mind, the husband is the provider, the woman stayed home and because she's seen, her grandfather do that for her grandmother. Right. So and it was I didn't see it. And this is before we, had bought our house over a year ago. And my biggest thing, because I wasn't even trying to rock out, because I'm telling myself, I'm not going to be paying no motherfucking mortgage. And you ain't what? You done lost your damn mind. You can have motherfucking sparklers dangling out your ass, firecrackers around your nipples. It ain't that. I'm not doing it. I'm not that guy. I'm my father's child, shit. I can be doggone, I can do bad by myself, but I had to get off of that because we were going back and forth trying to win. And then I had to move or maneuver to understand because she's seen her grandfather. And then I had to point out to her, right? But we don't live in your grandfather's times, right? Economically, he could do that because those times it didn't take a two income household. It didn't take, you'd be hard pressed. Even if the dude is a breadwinner, the woman 9 times out of 10, either she works and she contributes when she wants to or here and there, or she has a side hustle. But it is uber hard to have a comfortable lifestyle on a, singular, income. It's really hard. And so me and my wife, we went back and forth on that for a good minute until I had to break that down. And I had to break out the pen and paper and write down the bills and wrote down, okay, this is what I make, regardless of my side hustle. This is what, my business, this is what DPW pays me. This is what the bills is. We're in the red. I'm short. I can't cover. So once again, if I would have kept going back and forth with her for the win, right? Instead of thinking logically, let me show you what I'm trying to. I'm not trying to win. I'm going to show you facts. And if you choose to ignore those facts, like we ain't doing nothing, I'm gonna go about my merry way. You go about your merry way. We good because you're choosing to ignore logic, right? And I understand that some people get really emotional, but once that emotion, like the tides die down, and you still want to ride that wave, although that you on solid ground, and that's the solid ground of logic, and you don't want to adhere to the facts at hand, then you're definitely not for me. Because you don't want to be rational about no situation. And so anybody that's listening to the sound of my voice, if you're dealing with a person and you come at them with facts, and I'm not talking about facts where you're belittling them, beating them over the head with the facts. I'm talking about you're just plainly pointing out this is A, B, C, D, E, F, and they still choose to ignore that, walk away. They're not for you. Like, I'm just being honest. They just not for you. Because they're going to turn a blind eye because they want to win and they rather prefer to deal in emotion. And I'm not saying not to be some robot. I'm not saying to be some zombie. What I am saying, or if a person just won't take the time out to look at things as they are and not as they wish them to be, then they're not for you.
And the thing is, if you're always in fighting position, you're both in the position to lose because you're losing time, you're losing effort, you're losing energy, you're losing the ability to even grow as a couple and in your communication, because at some point when you're in fight mode, all you do is hit below the belt. You're never really getting to the source of why are you this angry, or why are you this upset, or why are you so emotionally affected by this statement?
Facts.
So I had watched this movie the other day. I was at work and we were watching this movie, and he said something.
My taxpayer dollars. My damn taxpayer. What the hell? I don't even live in Ohio, and I'm still affecting my taxpayer money. Go ahead.
Your face. But it's called Always a Bridesmaid. And so they were a couple. They had known each other, and they decided to get back together. And so they've been dating for a couple months, maybe a year. And he went to propose to her, and she said no. And even though she said no, she still wanted to stay together. And he said no. He goes, you're not going to get to abuse me and abuse my love and all those kind of things. Because he's like, I love you. And she's like, I love you too. And he said, no, you don't. He said, and it's not that you said no to my proposal. It's that you say no to you. You choose to be unhappy. You choose to play out the narrative of your parents' failed marriage. You choose to stay in the position you're in. He goes, until you can move past this, there is no future for us. And it spoke volumes to me, because I was like, we always want to fall back on or place the blame on our upbringing or a failed relationship. And it was like, no. Even out of all that failure, you get to choose when you win. You get to choose when you stop swinging and say, listen, I'm out the ring. I'm not even going to fight with you. Here, you can take my gloves. You can take my shorts. You can take my mouthpiece. I'll buy the whole damn ring. I'll buy the sports arena. But what I'm not going to do is fight with you back and forth. And one of the things that I say to my own baby, I'm not going to fight to love you. Either we going to do this or we not. But what I'm not going to do every day is feel like it's going to be pressure and work to love you. If it's got to feel like I'm going to be stressed out, and don't get me wrong, there's stressful moments and things like that because life happens. But if I could really, at the end of the day, got to feel like I got to fight to love you, then what am I doing?
Well, depends how good the dick is.
There's not enough dick in the world to make you be that stupid.
Right. But you love Rocco, though. Yeah. That's right now. Right. His name is Rocco, right?
Rico.
Oh, my bad. My dog name is Rocco. See? It's time to go to bed. Right. But you love Rico, though. Anyway, that's one other podcast. But now everything you said was a buck. You know what I mean? Everything that you said was definitely 100. We're not going to keep beating this, conversation about socks and drawers. We're not going to do that. But what we will do, we hope that we help somebody to understand, to maneuver their relationships, in a position of understanding and not trying to win. And then the other thing is we also hope that, we're getting people to have those hard, tough conversations very early on. Like, don't wait till, you be me and my wife. Like, it's only by a miracle. I ain't gonna lie to y'all. It's by God's loving grace that we're, 13 years in, right? It's miraculous, right? But in the same doggone token, it took a lot of work. Now, if we would have took the time out, two things would have happened. If we would have had tough conversations in the beginning of relationships, we might have found out that, we wasn't the one for one another, or we would have got all the, future coming arguments out of the way. But either way, we would have went forward in a relationship with a better understanding. And anybody right now that's still new in a relationship, I'll take it back. I'm wrong. Anybody right now that's in any, no matter where no matter how much time you've been spending in a relationship, sit down, cup of coffee, a shot of yak, it only make a difference, right? Have that conversation of what you expect from, your love interest, right? Don't hold judgment. This is what I expect. And then tell them why you expect what you expect. Right. And so in doing so, when they start to ask these things, because now you know the reason behind them, they don't seem so unreasonable.
Right. And this is the thing. This is how I'm going to close off my section of it. Is I want to talk, to the independent women. There are some of us who are really strong-willed, really stubborn. And, you've had to do life on your own. I get that.
All y'all stand up to pee. Sit your ass down.
Right. All of us who stand up to pee, raise your hand.
There you go. All you doggone heifers, I said it.
Right.
Send me your hate mail.
Right.
Stand up to pee.
Right.
Put your hand up.
The female, what do you call it? Oh, female male bashers.
Right.
Instead of the female woman haters, and the little rascals, it's the female male bashers. Listen, if you really are going to do this thing called love, there's a lot of your pride you're going to have to swallow. I got my hand up. Listen, getting into this.
Swallow, don't you spit.
Right.
Don't you spit it back out.
Swallow. But listen, for my
standpoint,
listen, some people just found out why fake eyelashes were created. Different podcast. But if you really going to win at this thing called love, you really are going to have to sit down with yourself first and really have a hard and tough conversation with yourself. You're going to have to call yourself to the mat and say, moving forward, I choose. Moving forward, I want. Moving forward, these are negotiable. Moving forward, these are not negotiable. The truth about me and Bay is that I manifested him for a year, consciously and subconsciously. But when we got together, I had to have hard conversations, and there's been a lot. Like DK makes jokes about, the whole thing about me being in the kitchen. The thing and the truth of the matter is that's a tough thing for me. I don't want to be told what to do, when to do, or how to do.
Don't I know it? Like, I promise you, y'all don't.
Y'all really y'all think y'all know, but you really don't. Like it's a lot, and thank God for Bay.
Breathe. I don't want to breathe. You told me to breathe. I'm not gonna breathe because you told me to breathe. I'd rather die.
Right. Listen, when I say independent, literally beating my own drum. And yes, there are part of me that would probably always stay that way. Don't get me wrong. But
I pray not. I'm not gonna lie to you. Like, don't. You can talk that tough cowboy shit. Like, let me help you out since you want to give advice to somebody, right? Let me give you some advice because
can I finish?
I know you can. I'm gonna be obnoxious. I'm gonna be dramatic. I'm gonna be rude. Like, whatever you do, you should go out of your way to kill that part of you. I'm not saying I need somebody to hear me right now. I'm not saying don't be strong, right? A strong Black woman raised me and prayed me through some of the most ugliest times of my life. Strong. She's my personal private angel. I used to call my mama. I'm a mama's boy. It's all right. Got my hand up. Sorry you can't see me, right? We'll be visual one day. You can see me in all my doggone old man glory. Like, yeah, I called and be like, and then I wouldn't say what's bothering me. She would just hear it in my voice. And then she would hit me with the magical words, baby, it's going to be okay. She didn't have an inkling nor a clue what I was going through, but she heard the doggone pain in my voice. And she said, baby, it's going to be okay. Right. So I have no problem with a strong, independent Black. I promise you I don't, but this is where I got a problem with. Please do not let your strength, do not let your independence make you lonely.
Facts. So yeah, that's my thing. Listen, y'all got to have some tough conversations with yourself. Listen, if you want to be loved, you deserve to be loved and how you can and how you want to be. But if you are not going to have the tough conversation with yourself and then have the tough conversation with him. And the other thing is you can't be so combative. It's not a winning situation. Y'all want to win at love together. So don't be so, for all of us who stand up to pee, listen, don't be so chest out and, not
make sure you shake it off too. Shake it. Don't just be,
wipe it. You got to wipe it. You got to pat and wipe it.
Don't you put it back and then you be wondering why they're in front of your drawers. Come on, women. Y'all can do better.
Don't be so combative when he comes with his list of things. And so in the situation where the gentleman who is trying his very best. And the other thing is, I always love that scene out of Blackish where the grandmother was sitting there. And so and it was a debate about who fixes the plate. And at the end, she says, us as Black women have to understand that your man has been out fighting the world. Why does he have to come home and fight you too? So Black women, white women, crazy. Whomever right. you might be, if Green you really love that man,
Captain Kirk,
right. If you really love Purple that women. Man, go buy him some socks and drawers if that's what he asked for. If he need his back rubbed, rub him down. Because the thing is, this DK will always say this to me. He goes, "What you won't do, somebody else will." And we don't want to have those conversations. We want to be like, "Oh, the box really ain't all that great, baby." Because
it's not just my bad. The box really ain't all that great. I'm keeping a buck. It's not just like the doggone meat. Like I don't care if you got a foot of meat. You know what I mean? Every time he hits you, he align your spine. And like after a while, it's just a feeling. But them feelings, right? Like they don't pay the bills, and it's kind of crazy about the what you call. I'm gonna tell you how we talk about strong, and I know we should. I'll give you the story, and then we're not gonna do a nugget of the day because that what you just said be the nugget of the day. So I'm gonna say this part. We're gonna close and keep it moving. Let me tell you a great story about my mom-in-law. Right? Like when I say tough, like of course my mother is my personal Black angel. Like she's my personal. Like she go to God before me, and God be like, "Oh, Miss Walker again. What her son done now? Well, God already know it done, but she go before me, and she plead my case, and I am 51 years later. I should have been gone a long time ago. But this is not about my mom. It's about my mother-in-law. Now, when you talk about tough, when you talk about independent, like let me tell you, like ladies, right? My mother-in-law she beat cancer twice, right? You know what I mean? She doesn't let lupus kick her in her ass. She kicks lupus in its ass. She has been to over, I don't want to give her too small of a number, but minimum, she's been to 11 different countries because after she beat cancer, she definitely, lives life on her terms. Like she's a go-getter. Like she loves art. She's like uber creative. Like she's one of the dopest people I like. Like I don't even start tearing up, right? But she's one of the by far dopest people I know. Like Miss Cindy, like she's great folk. And for all of her Blackness, for all of her, I'm a strong Black woman, right? Because she raised my wife and her brother on her lonesome. She by herself. She put herself through college, right? She did all these great things. Cancer came and she, not once, but twice, made it happen, right? Not a problem. And she earns a great penny, right? Go sees the world. Like when I tell she's a stand-up woman, with all due respect, she's a stand-up woman with all due respect. But the one thing that she has mastered that I pay attention to, and then I'm like, like she understands the dynamics of a man and woman relationship. Anytime that I go home, when I call home is her house. Anytime that I go to her house and, I'm about to, she run me out the kitchen. She give me that look, that look like, okay, I'm going to leave. I don't want the problems. I understand that look. And when I sit down and whatnot, because no knock on my wife is new school. She ain't, once every blue moon, Nikki will fix my plate. But if, it's not happening often, but every time Miss Cindy always fix my plate, fix me a cup of coffee, we having breakfast. It's just like, but the reason I'm sharing this story with you, because I'm telling you of her dominance. She still understands that you take care of the man. It doesn't make her less than a woman. And that's the part that a lot of women get it real effed up. You think by being submissive, and I guess it's not a dirty word, right? You think, and I guess this is the Love Jones of the day, whatever case may be, right? Like it's not a dirty word to be submissive to the men in your life that you love, right? Because once again, it's based upon we're not trying to win. We're not trying to win individually. We're trying to win as a unit. So if this woman with all her greatness can humble herself, you know what I mean? And I'm not even her man. I'm just a son-in-law. We kiki kaka and laugh like the best, and we have some of the best conversations. But some of you doggone women, I'm not bashing women, but I just want y'all to understand, if you just took the time out to make your man feel like he was the one, and okay, he has to be worthy of that attention. You just can't do that for any man. You can't treat a dog. You just can't go in there and knowing like a dog gonna be a dog. I don't care how juicy the steak is that you're trying to feed him, right? If you know you got a dog, then don't be trying to, ain't nothing you can do. What your best bet is open the door and you shoot a dog away because it's a dog and you can't change a dog. But when you got a man that's trying, when you got a man that's doing what he's supposed to and he's trying, make him feel like he's the only one. And I promise you that man will literally die for you. Sometimes when some of these say like don't be the person that like we're watching the sunset, right? And then you start talking. Sometimes you just got to be like, close out the show. Like, I'm gonna help you get better at.
While you were Captain Kirky me in the middle of my moment, like that.
But it was like, it can only be one. It can only be one. Okay. It can only be one asshole and one straight person. I know my role, right? You like my name says asshole. Like I gave myself, and you're the Thorny Chic. So unless we're doing role reversal, you let me know.
No.
Once again, that strong black woman. Like, ain't nobody asked you for your 2 cents. I promise you we didn't.
Y'all are the dopest listeners. I can't do this without you. Again, you can find us anywhere you listen to podcasts. If you are on Apple Podcasts, make sure you are leaving a review and a rating. We thank you guys for that. You're definitely helping us with the traction of it. Again, listen, our cash apps are not, in the show notes yet. However, you can find us.
I asked you specifically. Well, good help is hard to find. I promise you.
One day, I'm just going to get through the whole exit.
It won't be
outro.
Today. It won't be today.
I will get my whole outro done one day, Jesus, but it ain't today. Great on cash app.
Jesus ain't even get his whole out. He was on the cross, right? Because he was trying to talk to God and told God, think about what you just said. One day, Jesus, right? Jesus ain't even get through his moment by himself. He was on the cross and he had he had two people on the side of him. One was a thief and the other one committed murder. I could be wrong. Anyway, but they was talking to him and he was talking to God. He was telling God, like, look, man, if it's your will, come get this cup. And the dude on the side, I'm like, look, man, I stole some of mine. And then, so he had to stop praying to God to entertain two people that was way below. Like, really? So you want to get through something God couldn't get through his get through. I digress. I'm sorry.
Walk with me, Lord. Walk with me. Who, while I'm on this tedious journey. Walk with
What the who?
That's an old church hymn.
Yeah, I know.
All them Baptists. Listen, all the Pentecostals and the Baptists and the Church of Christ. And the Church of Christ will come in.
Right.
Back me on that one.
My thing is just have a relationship. I ain't passing judgment and
walk with me, Lord. Penta Baptist.
Yeah.
Penta Baptist.
Yeah, whatever.
So
Hershey
again,
Kiss Baptist.
Listen, Bedside Baptist. Listen, Bedside Baptist. Hush your face. Hush your face.
Reese Cup Catholic.
Oh, Lord. I'm not even going to even... I'm pushing that Pandora box away from me. I don't want.
Oh my God! That's the thing, though, right? People put God on this, and he rightfully so. You should put him on the pedestal, right? But if you can't play, like if you don't think God got a sense of humor, please look at your life. Somebody laughing at that. Yeah, I promise you, God looks at mankind and he chuckles mightily, and you think it's thunder.
That's one that you created. Anyhow, since our cash apps are not in the show notes, but our Patreon is, definitely go click and support us that way. Again, a lot of great stuff coming your way on Patreon that will not be seen on Instagram, Facebook, or here on the actual podcast. You guys are actually going to get more of me and the Lovable Asshole. This is your girl, it's that Thorny Chic here in KK Rose, alongside my co-host, the Lovable Asshole, DK Walker. DK,
yes,
push the button.
And what button am I pushing? I didn't push it. Have not pushed your buttons enough this podcast? Like, haven't I pushed? Ain't too tired of me pushing
the red
your buttons?
One. Hit the red one. Hit the red one.
You should have. You are the red one.
No, I'm the translucent one today. Hit the red one.
This episode of the Love Is podcast has ended. But please be sure to subscribe for more great content on sex, entrepreneurship, life, love, and how to get through the BS of it all. And don't forget to rate and leave a review so we can continue to bring more of that Thorny Chic, Karen KK Rose, and, dare I say, the lovable a-hole, Mr. DK Walker. See you on the next podcast.